Welcome, everybody. You are on with the Band Buzz. I am your host, Justin Craig. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope. And if you're friends with me personally on Facebook, it's on my page as well. You can find me at Justin Craig, C-R-A-I-G. Well, we have a great show planned for you tonight. I have a tremendous, awesome player in the Chicagoland music scene, Johnny Rabenda with Recycle the Day, and Rockwave Entertainment is with us. But first, let's get some advertising out of the way. First, we are sponsored by Legends of Tomorrow Entertainment. You can email them at info@legendsoftomorrowent.com. Go to them for all your band and brand management needs. If you have content, media, a band, something you'd like to promote in the entertainment space, hit the team over at Legends of Tomorrow, and they will hook you up. They have their patented band Bible to get your social media marketing up and running, and all of your content and all your graphics and everything, so it all looks nice and uniform, and you can sell your product. Also brought to you by Old Wise Clothing Company. Go to oldwiseclothingcompany.com and use promo code BANDBUZZ and get 15% off your entire order. They have great new stuff for the summer. I just saw the tank tops. I'm excited to get one of those. I got my trucker hat on the way. The ringer tees look really cool. I love a good ringer tee. So go hit Old Wise Clothing Company, oldwiseclothing.com. and tell them the Band Buzz sent you. Enter that promo code off at your checkout, and they will hook you up. Also brought to you by Healthy Hustle with Andrea. That's a nice little Facebook group by my girl, Andrea Graves. You can reach her at andreagraves24@gmail.com. She's got plenty of wellness and health tips, staying in shape, putting good stuff in your body. She represents the great folks at Arbonne, all their fine products. I've got the pain cream from when I'm working out too crazy and hard. Trying to keep off that 20-pound, that quarantine 20. Instead, I've actually been losing about 20 because I've been a nut job working out and trying to stay in shape and not eat a bunch of cookies and soda and stuff. So hit up Healthy Hustle with Andrea. Tell Justin Craig with the Band Buzz sent you over there. Also, Beth's Healthy Living Inside and Out. Beth's Healthy Living Inside and Out. I can never say that right. You can also hit her up on Instagram at tranquil.solution. Beth is a great massage therapist. She's got all kinds of great wellness tips. She was on Facebook Live the other day doing a stream about cool acupuncture mat and pillow. And again, great products and things to keep some healthy stuff in your body. So go hit up Beth. Tell her Justin sent you. She will do you right. Well, without any further ado, my buddy and friend in the Chicagoland music scene, Mr. Johnny Rabenda. What's up, Johnny? Here's Johnny.
How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm hanging in there. I'm loving life right now. I actually, I'm one of the few people who's probably saying that during all of this craziness, but I'm actually really happy. Like this podcast has been doing really well. And every week I have a new guest and the downloads are just going up. And so I'm really excited. So if you're at home listening, you can download us at all the places where you find your favorite podcasts. And again, if you're listening to the live stream, also, if you are interested in any questions for Johnny or myself or any topics you'd like to bring up, hit us up on the Facebook page or any of the pages now. They're all set up so you can send a message to us and we can get your comment or question up on the screen and address it. And then you can listen to it back on the podcast and share it with all your friends that you've been on the show. So Johnny is the president and owner of Rockwave Entertainment. And we'll talk about all that, what that entails. But also, yes, Jason, we have drinks. So we have a comment already. My buddy Jason Montgomery, I have a drink. It's right here. There's cranberry juice for me tonight. I'm trying to be healthy, but also drink at the same time. And Johnny's also a part of Recycle the Day. Now, did you start Recycle the Day, or is that just a band that you took over? What's your?
Yeah, I started Recycle the Day. So started Recycle the Day in 2010. Started off as a 90s tribute act. We were strictly doing 90s for the first few years of its life. And then until about 2012, 2013, we transitioned to being this all around party band. So
Did you find like that niche wasn't like serving as well, or were you being asked to do more things by like weddings or special events?
yeah. So the idea was, when I first started doing this, so my lead in, like I said, my career, I started off doing original music. And it was funny, of a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing took me to a place called the Cubby Bear. And and then I went to the Cubby Bear, and the band that was playing was one of their friends, and the band was 16 Candles. And the band, when I saw them there, they're doing 80s, and then there's a whole story that goes on with that. But they so when I found that, and I'm like 80s, and I was looking it up, I was like, there's really no 90s thing going on right now. So I was like, let me try that. So then I was wanting to get in the cover scene. I was like, we can make a little bit of money doing that, and then we can work on our original music. And then when I started doing that, a few years in, I noticed that like we did it the wrong way in the first start. And in Chicago, we were doing a lot of more grunge and Pearl Jam and that kind of stuff.
It's popular now. Do you think maybe
Right.
you're ahead of the game? You're like ahead of the game? You're probably like 10 years too early. Like
exactly. And if I would have stuck with it, maybe it would have worked, But so then what we end up with, towards the end, after the few years, what we noticed we were kind of doing is that the demand was more working for the 90s pop music. So we were like doing more of the, like the jump arounds, the hip hops, the Britney Spears or whatnot. And next thing I know, so I was like, most of our set is this anyway, so we might as well just, kind of like, transition and kind of do everything and broaden the horizon. And then I really wanted to get my foot wet in the corporate wedding thing. I did that a lot of my younger years as a DJ. I didn't do that as with the band. So I was like, we could implement that same kind of principle with the band, and it worked and kind of took off from there. So, yeah.
Cool. That's interesting. So you said at first that you were doing original music, and Chicago back in the day was known for some great original bands. I don't know if that's as much the case. The original scene here seems to be a little, soft, I would say. I have some people coming on the show upcoming that are in that world. So I'm interested to find out more about that, because I don't exist entirely in that scene as well. But when you were starting to do it, was it just, not as fruitful, not able to get shows, or the pay wasn't?
No, we were doing very well. Had a deal, the whole thing, toured, all that good stuff. And I did well with it when I was doing it. Financially, no, because it's a different mentality when you're doing one or the other. Original scene, any kind of money or any kind of anything you're making throughout any of that goes to studio time, goes to marketing, goes to advertising. It's very much, because it's not as big and broad as like what it is in the cover scene. The cover scene, we can, make 3, 4, whatever grand a pop at a corporate event or like a wedding. So, and then originals,
you're recycling the money. You're recycling the money in the original project.
Right. So exactly. So that goes towards everything. So, then it was just more like, I don't know. I just want to try something new. That year in 2010, I ended up breaking my leg and split my fibula. And I was at the time working construction.
How did you do that?
Roller skating. No, rollerblading. Yeah, I was literally rollerblading.
The construction thing in there. I thought maybe you did it on the job. That's a good word.
Very lame. I was roller skating in the park with my wife.
Oh.
So it's a really lame story. But I broke it. Was a liability for the construction work. So I was like, what else can I do? And then that's kind of like what led me to do this. And I was like, I think I can do it. So, yeah.
Well, that's cool. So you took off into sort of the transition as you started that band, and then you moved into being more of a party all around band, and you obviously saw gigs pick up and corporate events and stuff like that. And that's been the mainstay for you guys. Do you have desires to do anything else with that band, or is it more run like an organization where do you have you had the same members, or how does that go?
With Recycle the Day, you mean?
Yeah.
With Recycle the Day, no, we've had changing. I'm the only original member left now in Recycle the Day. We've had rotating members in the band for years, for the past 10 years. Actually, this July was going to be our 10-year anniversary. And now, we'll see what happens with that. But 10-year anniversary, rotating members. We've had it all, the whole thing. the original plan when I first started, in, like I said, in 2012-ish, somewhere around that time, was to make money quickly, you know, and it's a way to do that. And I found like the wedding corporate private circuit was the way to go. So we ended up, it was one of those things, careful what you wish for, because at the time then we did that, really pushed it, marketed towards that. Come now, you know, we're kind of like so much weddings, so much stuff. 80% of weddings we get, we turn down.
Yeah.
That's how crazy it is right now. So like, you know, 80% is a big number. So like we're always saying no, we're not, because either we're not available or it's a money thing.
Yeah.
So years later, but now it's like, it'd be cool to do like fests and do more of that, you know, and like most of the times we get the leads for the festivals already booked, because weddings booked so far out in advance. Yep. So it's kind of like careful what you wish for, like I said, kind of thing. Because yeah, it shot me in the foot, because I'm like, oh, I'd love to do more of this, more of that. And I can't, because I'm so caught up with weddings and corporate stuff. So
I mean, that's a good problem to have. I mean, what about now? I mean, with COVID, are you seeing a lot of cancellations, or people just pushing it back? Like, what do you see happening right now in that world?
Well, right now in that world, what we're doing is, most of them are all getting pushed back. So if they're, you know, say whatever, July of this year, July 10th, we're looking for a date around that similar time for 2021. Kind of what the goal or the idea is. I've had a few of them try to push towards the end of this year, which, you know, we'll see. But yeah, so that, I mean, right now that's what it's looking like. Seeing as far as like new stuff, it is quiet. I mean, quiet.
Well, I think everyone's sitting on their hands, kind of just waiting to see how things, especially in Illinois, are going to open back up. You know, I think Illinois, not to be political or anything, but I mean, I don't think the governor's doing a great job of like, you know, preparing us with a real plan moving forward of opening things up and getting it all going again. I think it's every, you know, I've talked to some restaurant friends of mine today. I have one of the owners of the Broken Oar coming on to talk about what's happening in that with the venue side of things. And it's just really tough. They don't know what to plan for. They don't know when they can plan to open anything up or do anything. And that's really hard for them. And that's hard for bands to, you know, again, plan for anything. And I've heard that it's affecting the wedding industry, you know, heavily. And, you know, hence bringing you on of a band who does a lot of that kind of stuff. So, so the other part is like Rockwave Entertainment. Explain that to me. Is that just an umbrella sort of corporation to handle the you know, the insurances, all that kind of stuff for the band, or do you have other bands that you're looking to bring under that umbrella? Are you looking to maybe, like, I know Maggie Speaks has like a bunch of sort of sub bands to them that do that too. Is that maybe the goal as you expand?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when I first started, I was trying to like work with bands, and I did. I booked other bands. I worked at different stuff. You know, I currently book Bedrocks in Shorewood. You know, it's a bar I work with and stuff. So like I manage their calendar, entertainment calendar there. And then, so, I mean, yeah, just stuff like that. And I was trying to bring in other bands and stuff and doing that. But yeah, it's kind of the umbrella of everything. And then not only that, I DJ too. So it was another way, an outlet of putting everything as one for me, for like, you know, accounting purposes, really.
No, that makes a lot of sense. You know, so a lot of people don't understand that. So sometimes they see like Rockwave and whatever, they think maybe you have another band, or you're you know, you're starting some sort of management company or something.
Well, honestly, at the time I did, I was doing the UFC band. Rockwave Entertainment. So I was doing UFC band and Recycle the Day. So yeah, I guess I was.
You know, UFC band still exists though, doesn't it? Does it just run by somebody else?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing now. Yeah, they did go on for a little while, and they did the same thing. They kind of like got rid of everybody. Yeah, it'd be a good question. I don't know what they're doing. Stuff. Last I heard, they weren't doing much, so I'm not sure. So
yeah, again, don't want to throw darts at anybody, but it's like hopefully they're doing okay. If they're still in existence. I mean, I know a lot of bands, given what's gone on, who have just folded up shop. I mean, because it you know, they were, you know, dependent on sort of the bar scene of things, and you know, I don't know. I think probably what you're doing is going to come back faster, more private events and smaller things, or maybe, you know, I don't know how people won't necessarily have the regulations, I think, or public regulations that bars will. You know, I think that one of the plans in the governor's thing is places will have to open at 25% capacity to begin with, and that's going to be really tough for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know if that would be worth it for them to have bands other than just like a nicety, like they're still supporting the community in some way.
Well, a lot of these bars too are gonna have to need time to kind of rebuild too and build up their, equity and everything again, So, I mean, it's gonna take a minute to bring everything back, for full scale where they're ready, to say afford bands or do stuff again. We're gonna, we might have a longer road ahead of us here. I surely hope not, but that's what it looks like. And like you said, with the wedding industry and everything like that, the only side of that I seen it getting rushed is because people are kind of anxious to get married or do things, So,
Yeah.
because they were all looking forward to having, this thing.
And then they got to push it back 6 months.
Right. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of people are very anxious to get married. So like that's the only thing. So I do see that, like the anxiety of that from like clients and brides and grooms that I have on the books right now. Them very ambitious, like, okay, I'm very worried, because they just spent however much money to get uh, to have a wedding and to put on this show, so to speak, for themselves, and they can't do it.
Have you seen that market before this kind of happened? Did you see it rapidly inclining or declining, staying the same for you?
Before COVID, I felt like it was doing good. I mean, going into this year, I was like, man, we're gonna crush last year as far as like I was looking at numbers. I try not to look at it per show, but I definitely look at it for the private industry, because we do so much marketing for the band, whether it be Wedding Wire or not, Gigmaster, all those sites that you kind of like work with. So
I don't know all those sites. What are those sites again? So
really? Yeah, yeah.
I'm not in that world. I used to DJ weddings when I was like 19, 20, 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I'm like weddinged out. Like I don't ever, when people ask Summer Sun to do weddings, like, one of my bands, Summer Sun, I tell them no, like I really don't want to do them. Or I'm like,
really?
I throw out an extraordinary amount because I really don't, like, it's like your whole day, it's,
yeah, man.
I'm just not built for those anymore. I love DJing them and stuff when I did them, and I had fun. And then one day I just was burned out on being a part of weddings every weekend, and I was just done with it. And then I was married younger, and then I got divorced too. And I'm like, I never want to see a wedding ever again.
Yeah, right, yeah. Yeah, no, I see a lot of people like that, like who say that and want nothing to do with it. I don't mind it as much. I kind of like it. But yeah, those people, because the stuff people don't think about with weddings. It's a long day.
Yeah, it's a long day.
It's a long day.
You got to set up early. You got to be there before people get there, sound check and stuff. And then you're just hanging around, and there's not really much to do. And trust me, I I get it.
So we do all the add-ons too. So like people hate, like people in my band in this world like hate me because like if a book guests arrive at like 5, I have everyone show up at 2. So we show up at 2, sound check, get ready, the whole shebang. I want everything perfect, lights up. We have a whole truss we put up, the whole shebang. And then some people want up lighting, so I got to run up lighting for the room. Or if they want ceremony, they want to. So I have to bring up another sound system to set up the ceremony sound. So yeah, it's a lot of.
Yeah, I mean, I know that you're charging for it, and I would too, because even like I said, I throw out, people ask me to do them, and I just throw out extraordinary numbers because I don't really want to do it. If I'm gonna do it, it's gonna pay me well to be in there. That's interesting. So what besides that industry, so that's like your mainstay thing, and do you ever kind of think about getting back to original music in some way, like using this to fund, are you doing any of that?
I wasn't until now. I am now in the process of doing that with our last bass, one of our old bass players, Hugh Aguinaldo, which I'm sure you know from the scene.
Yeah.
He was in UFC with me and Recycle the Day as well. But yeah, we're working on original stuff as we speak.
What kind of music?
It's going to be heavier because like I metal, kind of hard rockish kind of stuff. So I was like, looking to kind of get back into that sort of thing. And I was like, let's just do it for fun. What else are we doing right now? So, so it's a kind of genre of music that's where my heart is, as a kid. That's what I grew up on, was more heavier music. So yeah.
I think that's really key right now for most musicians who aren't, doing what they've normally done or gotten used to the pattern of now everyone is exploring their musical ends in different ways. Some people are finding new passions in songwriting or something maybe, and some people are going back to their roots of musics and styles that they've played before. I mean, I know, like, I'm trying to harness my skills in like this area, like podcasting. I've thought about doing this for a long time. I've thought of, I love listening to other great podcasts like Rogan and stuff. And so I was like, I want to take a shot at this, So I've been working hard behind the scenes and exploring other avenues, even beyond music for me. And I think now is a great time to do that. Now is the perfect time, because if you got time on your hands, I always say that, under duress circumstances and things like this, the people who their minds keep moving and they keep innovating something will come out of this with something else in hand, instead of, going, oh, look at me, poor me. It all evaporated in the blink of an eye, which, it will come back, but slowly, and hopefully it comes back fast. I mean, that's a hope, but at the end of the day, people who've worked on records or marketing themselves, even some of the cover band people I know who are doing, quarantine videos and things like that. I have some people coming on that Mark, I think, who used to be in Recycle the Day, Mark and Greg, and those guys did this tenderoni smooth R&B project thing. And the videos are great. And it's a great idea. And it's something that they've taken this downtime and decided that now's the time to work on these sort of fun passions that might turn fruit.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, you never know. Like, especially that, like what you're doing right now is fantastic. It's great. It's perfect because I tell you what, I have never listened to more podcasts in my life than I have right now. So,
sure.
Because you can listen to them all the time. You can have them on your phone, while you're doing dishes. When you're doing anything, you're constantly, so I constantly have something on, listening just to occupy your mind and kind of keep you going. It's not like political or news.
So hopefully something we say on these shows ends up being useful to people in some way. That's just my hope,
Right,
or like I said, to give people an inside look of, or just a fan of Recycle the Day or Seventh Heaven or whoever. They get to look behind the curtain a little bit and see what these people are about, what they do, how they got there. I don't think people give enough cred to people in I call it the middle level of the spectrum, where people again think you're playing in your garage or basement to nobody, or they think you're on some big stage at the United Center and there's no in between. People don't realize there's a market in what you do. So what you're doing is, you've created a living, you've created a business, you've created, there's entrepreneurship there, there's marketing. And I'll segue into that. Like, what do you said you advertise with the wedding things to get in those websites, or, back in the day, it used to be magazines or whatever, but now what are you spending, in social media marketing? Do you have a rough budget year over year that you're spending? Do you mind giving that kind of number out? I mean,
yeah, no, not at all. So it varies year to year, as far as that goes. What I found, like, and honestly, and I hate to say this, especially for any bands looking to do similar stuff to Recycle Day does. I've had a lot of people message me on Facebook and asking me for advice and want to know how to tap into that scene. And it's such a hard scene to get into, and I totally get that, because people are hiring you on credibility. So if you don't have like a million reviews on The Knot, or if you don't have them on whatever Wedding Wire, it's honestly word of mouth. And I know that's the hardest thing to hear, is word of mouth is everything. That's probably the biggest thing I get in return as far as like bookings, is word of mouth. And I know, like I said, I know that's not what people want to hear, but just getting your foot in the door, getting your feet wet anywhere, do a wedding for nothing. I promise you, there's somebody out there who'll hire you for like, do a wedding for like $1,000, something like that, like a low thing and stuff, just to get your feet wet. And I know that's not something people want to hear, but I promise you it will work itself, up, and you can build up from there. As far as, but back to your question, as far as money, we spend a lot less than most bands. I know that, compared to, some of the heavy hitters in Chicago. But like right now, currently, I think we're spending like $360 a month between Wedding Wire and The Knot, and then it's like something like $180 every 3 months for like a Gig Masters or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but something along those lines. But it's not cheap, but honestly, do the math, the return is good. you know?
That's interesting. The first part you brought up about doing weddings or maybe at a lower price at first to get, probably good pictures, get some video, hire, like that's all going to be part of like your investment. And
Yep.
weeks ago, I had a girl that I'm friends with who is a singer songwriter in Nashville. And one of our big topics was talking about the reinvestment or the initial investment into your music. And even with what you're doing, you hear old timers, and I hate to say that word, but I'm getting up there. I'll be 40 this summer. But,
Yeah.
you hear old timers talk about like, that they always throw those memes and stuff out there about it playing for exposure and doing those kinds of things. But I always say sometimes you need to weigh the exposure opportunities and your initial opportunities as the cost of doing business, the cost of marketing, the cost of getting, good audio, good video. We've Gravity, when I launched Gravity, the John Mayer tribute, one of our first shows, our first big show was opening up for Trippin' Billy's at Joe's Live. Now I knew that was going to be a big show. I knew the lights were going to be cool. So I hired a videographer. I lost
Take advantage
money.
of the situation. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, most certainly. I lost money on that gig for sure, paying the band something, paying for all of the media content. But to me, it was important to make a very substantial investment of the first couple gigs to launch that product into at least looking like, and we know in the music business, it's about selling the rapper just as much as it is about selling everything else. My buddy Dan is on here. Oh, thanks, Dan. Dan says I'm so cute. But and Danny was there. Dan Davis runs lights and stuff at Joe's Live, and it was a great show, and we had a great turnout, and it was marketed well. Trippin' Billy's always brings a great crowd. They always perform really well. So our video packaging to make this work, and then the next couple of shows next summer we were playing Taste of River North, for a substantial amount of money because it worked. And I think with what you're saying is go do that first couple, and get a photographer there or get the wedding photographer to take good pictures and send them to you, pay them for them, get some video clips, do all of those things because that sets you up for success if you're really serious. Like if you're
absolutely, especially if you got like a friend or something who's looking to get married and wants to take a chance on you, or like a friend in a company wants to have a holiday party, things like that. It really goes a long way because somebody there is going to see you and recommend you or think about you for the next time, and then it spirals out of control. We joke all the time, like an inside joke in Recycle a Day is, we always joke that we're Illinois Western, wedding band. You know what I mean? Because like out in that area, they constantly hire us, and like we have done so many weddings for friends of a friend, and it all spiraled from one wedding to this one wedding. All of a sudden, like we've gotten like probably close to like 20, 30 weddings from this one wedding, and we all see them again at the re-wedding. So it's like constantly seeing them.
Book of Genesis for your band. It's like one begat the other, begat the other.
Right? Yeah. So it's really cool. And then like same thing with Michigan. There's been stuff in Michigan that we've done, and people keep like, I'm like, you guys don't have cover bands in Michigan? Like they keep like calling me, like going out there and
well, they don't have things like ours for sure, but they, I think to your point, it's like people, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if people find a good group and they were there and they enjoyed themselves, to them, that's a guarantee where maybe hiring something else might show them good video, good whatever, but that's a risk. So that's why that referral business, especially in weddings, is so important to people. I remember that from the DJ, my time as a DJ too. And it was just interesting how, one tells another person that their wedding was great. This person was a great MC. This band did a fantastic job. They learned all the songs that I wanted. They played them perfectly. Those things go so long because everyone's special day is so special to them that they certainly don't want to open things up to chance, even if it's, someone's highly recommended through the Knot, or whatever the website. That's still someone they realize in these days, anyone can go on Facebook and pay for a lot of likes. You can pay for, you could pay for 5-star Yelp reviews if you want. There's a Fiverr thing out there that you could do that. You know what I mean? And so people don't trust necessarily what they read on these sites or reviews.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, absolutely, man. You could do so much of that stuff. I mean, it's never ending. Like I always say too, like people like, again, my band here say that I play for free. I charge nothing for free. I get paid for everything else. You know, so that's what it is. That's work. I love playing. I love performing. That's big. The hardest thing for me through this COVID thing is, you know, I go from playing every weekend, 100 plus shows a year, to, you know, nothing. And that was my therapy every week.
Yeah.
That was my therapy, man. Like, you know, playing whatever, I don't care what it is or what we're doing. I loved it. That was where my release was.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with my friend yesterday. Is that's the payoff for me? The performing,
Absolutely.
the playing was the payoff of all the other work that you're doing to trek the road.
Yeah.
So my joy is in being there, you know, and putting it out there and seeing people receive it and be entertained and have a good time, you know. Being the conduit for that was really the payoff for me. All this other, you know, like you said, I'd probably play for free, but I need to get paid for all this other stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah, because it's a lot. I always say that too, because like the 30%, maybe less, is playing. You know, there's so much that you do behind the scenes of a band.
Especially when you own it, when it's yours, you know.
Yeah.
So Will is it here? Will says, tell Justin the fried chicken story. What is the fried chicken story,
I don't know
Johnny?
what fried chicken story he's talking about. There's plenty of those.
How much fried chicken do you eat?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, we have all these. I should write a book, man, of all these crazy wedding stories I have.
Give us one. Give us one.
Yeah. All right, I'll give you the one. So we did a wedding in Michigan. I want to say it was Bennett Harbor. I can't remember, but it was on a lake, and we call it the wedding from hell. Everything that can possibly go wrong at this wedding went wrong. There was raw. We literally go to sit down to eat. They had chicken. You cut the chicken, it's bleeding. Raw chicken, right? So literally you're cutting it up. Everyone's flipping out. There's 300 plus people at this wedding. And so everyone's having a crap fit, throwing stuff. Wedding planners having a fit, trying to serve people all the stuff. They had to order pizza in. Come to find out later, I didn't know at the time, the bride was pregnant. So she wasn't drinking or having fun at all.
Oh, no.
And so, yeah, they were getting screamed at, yelled at, everything. And, yeah, it was a disaster of a wedding. And we literally had to go on. And I remember telling the band, I was like, we have to save this wedding because people were pissed. Like, I mean, completely MF. I was on stage, like, trying to help because I was like, people don't know me. I have ADD. Like, I'm all over the place. I got to be doing stuff at all times. I get yelled at all the time to sit down. I don't like to sit down. So I end up helping the wedding planner because I'm bored and we're not doing nothing. So I'm like running around helping her, and people are throwing stuff at me. I need this. I need that. I'm like, I'm in the band. I'm not even like supposed to be here helping you. And people are chewing me out for everything. So we go on and we actually killed it. And it was actually a really fun show and a great night. And
yeah, everyone was probably so frustrated by the time it was having fun. Everyone was ready to just like,
yeah, it was really hot. It was on the lake. It was one of those things, man. People were just pissed off. But yeah, it ended up being a great freaking wedding. Like, people like loved it. There was a girl and stuff like that, like licking our set list and like, like
the set list.
She was taking our, so we used to tape our set list on the side of the speakers.
Yeah.
There was like people like there, and she was so hammered and drunk, and like there's so many like goofy, slutty stories from that wedding too. But one of them, when she was licking the set list, kept taking her set list and licking it, like it was all covered in saliva by the end of the night.
Gross. Oh my gosh. She was not. She was. Good thing she wasn't doing that now during like COVID. Just like
right. Oh yeah.
She's probably immune to it. She's probably running around out there now. She can do whatever she wants. No face masks. She doesn't need anything. She licked enough set lists in her life.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've been to so many weddings with like super drunk people, and I always thought that was kind of funny, like why people would just get so wasted at a wedding, you know. But
they do, man. They do all kinds of sort of thing. I remember one too, just a quick one, but there was a girl, they had she forgot the garter, couldn't find the garter, and they're looking all over for the garter, and it was very awkward because I like stopped the music and paused for this event, announced the event, I'm emceeing everything, and get ready for the garter toss, and then they get ready, and then all of a sudden it's like silence because she just disappears and is looking for this garter. And the maid of honor comes up by Joe Ordman, my drummer at the time, and stuff like that. She's like, cover me. He's a pretty big dude. So she goes behind Joe and is like holding there and stuff. And she takes her panties off from underneath the dress. She goes out and gives it to the groom, and they used her panties as the garter to throw out.
It's some people, man. She
Yeah,
saved the day. She saved the day. I mean, she was willing to give up her panties, I guess. Like,
yeah, yeah, man.
save the day.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've got like a zillion road stories. And when you come back home, I mean, are you married, kids? What's the
Yeah, I'm married. I have a beautiful wife. Been married to her for 10 years. 3 kids. I have 2 twin boys who are 16, gonna be 17, and then I have a 8-year-old.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good gap between the kids.
Yeah.
Like, oops, or is that planned for another one?
I was planned for another one. So the twins were from a previous relationship.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So then, years later. So.
Hey, wait, we have a comment here from Kayla. Hugh says you skipped a part. What part did you skip in your story?
Tell her Hugh has to elaborate. What part did I skip?
Well, we'll wait for them to chime in.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's that. Being on the road with a lot of the people that have been in and out of the band, have you maintained? You know, people kind of come in the band. Do they just kind of move through after they play for a couple years, or it's just kind of a seasonal job for some people? I mean, you said that the band has had different members, and a lot of them that you're still obviously friends with in the music scene. You know, how do people come in and out of the band? I know my friend Nick Lynch used to sing for I can't think of the orchestra or can't, but they do a lot of weddings and stuff, and you know they're always changing people. But that's just the nature of what they do. It's like, you know, they just have a giant pool of musicians, and it's always a different, you know, might be a different makeup of people per event.
Mm-hmm.
How do you manage that?
I'm sorry, repeat the question one more time.
So my point is, every, you know, season to season, you might not have the same people.
Oh, really?
And you've had different people in and out of the band. I know Mark Tatelli used to sing with you guys, and you know, different people have played drums for you. And you know, when they move in and out of the band, are some people just kind of like, again, looking for a job for the wedding season, or some people like just,
no,
they're trying to be in a band full time? I mean,
yeah. So ultimately, I want a band. You know, like I've talked about doing. We've been talking about making like like you were saying, you know, earlier we were talking about doing like a sequel band to this band because of the turn down of so many weddings that we have. So there's been talks about things like that, but no, I want a band. I want members who are here and going to stay here. You know, Chris Grano, who's our current male singer. I mean, he's been here for 5.5 years, and I mean, there's people who've been here a while. But you know, ultimately, yes, I want guys who are steady. You know, this isn't like a internship by any means. You know,
again, I've known different bands in different areas. Some people,
I know bands do that.
It's wedding season. I need 4 singers. You know, and that's
right. Yeah, no, in this band, it would be so hard to do that because of the way we're built and the way the band, our way our stage performances. There's so many skits, there's so many choreography that goes on throughout a show. We play the backing tracks, you know, we have the click going the whole time, and we do a lot of medleys. So it's like very much, you know, song and a song and a song. So it is a hard show to learn, absolutely. So yeah, mostly I like to keep those people in there, you know, and like usually, you know, most of the time when people leave, it's just honestly the schedule of the band, you know, playing so much, being gone all the time. Maybe they're, you know, married to or have a family, and it's just that they can't keep up with the schedule and the demand. So, how
does your wife juggle that? Does she?
Cool?
Yeah.
No, my wife's cool, man. I have like probably one of the coolest wives in the world, man. She's really cool. She loves it and very much supportive. It was like her idea with all this stuff, honestly, you know. She really pushed me into doing this and definitely supports me in every which way. Because at the end of the day, like I said, for me, I can win the lottery tomorrow, you know, and nothing would ever change with Recycle a Day. I have to play. It's just my therapy. It's my outlet. I have to do what I do. Right? Otherwise, I'm in a lot of trouble if I don't.
I get it.
Yeah.
So Dan has a good question. He said, after all these years, I'm still waiting for one of our cover bands to transition into playing those songs. I'm assuming he means originals versus being a cover band that plays covers with their own original spin on the songs. I'm going to stab at what I think you meant by and see what your take on that is, Johnny. As far as, what do you think about bands who are starting, maybe even as Recycle the Day is, and making Recycle the Day somewhat of a hybrid band that's playing that maybe releases an original song every once in a while, or takes a cover song of some sort and does like an original spin on a cover, almost like, Seether doing, Careless
Yeah,
Whisper
yeah.
or something like that.
There's a lot of bands who do that already. There are some bands who are out there in the side. See, I've seen a ton that do that kind of thing. Like they're playing like a Lady Gaga or doing whatever, and they're turning like this into a rockier or maybe an R&B version.
Yeah.
There's a band, Dirty Loops. I don't know if you heard of them, but they're fantastic. One of the
What's it called?
they're not local by any means. They're from
Called again? Dirty Loops?
Dirty Loops. Look them up. They're one of the most phenomenal bands you'll ever hear in your life. They're so freaking talented. It makes you want to quit. They're one of those kind of bands. Like it's so good. But they do a lot of that. That's how they started. Actually, there was like a cover band, and they just put their twist on a lot of songs and a lot of popular songs, and it's all very jazzy, improvised. It's so good.
Cool.
But there are bands who do that kind of thing and stuff.
Yeah.
But back to what you're saying before, I would love to do that. That's probably my biggest goal in Recycle the Day, is to be able to transition and one day say, we're doing just as much originals as we are covers, or even just putting out albums as original things and seeing what happens. I'm not looking to be a rock star, but there's definitely an itch for an outlet to do there and
to create.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think most musicians have that itch of some kind, to create.
Yeah. And like, you get creative, I guess, with the cover stuff, obviously creating, medleys, or you're creating, all this, things. When I first started doing covers, man, I used to like laugh at it and like think what a joke this was. I was like, we're just ripping off other people's music. And I used to think that, there's a story with that too, but I actually had a fan of ours who used to come see the band all the time, and used to come out, and they used to always tell me that. And then especially at weddings, they would come up to you and say, you have no idea how much this meant to me, or how much they appreciated it, or they'd be on the dance floor partying all night, and thank you so much for giving me 3 hours to take my mind off whatever things bothering them. But I also had this one fan who passed away. She used to come see us all the time, and ended up passing away, got hit by a car. And I remember going to her funeral, and she had my guitar picks in her casket when I went to the wake. And I was just like, and that like was like,
wow,
that blew me away and stuff. And that this meant so much to her that they would do that. And it just blew me. So I had a whole different perspective on this scene after that experience.
Yeah. When Megan from Wedding Band was on the show last week, I think it was, we talked about, she mentioned it in sort of passing, but I was like, that's really important that we sometimes, forego our importance to people of their release and from life and being entertained, and you deliver songs that they like and something that really connected with them, even though it was a cover. I don't know if you knew Lindsay Lagosty from Dixie Crush, who passed away, right before all this happened. And
Lindsay was at my house a month before that happened.
Yeah, and that's super crushing. And Samantha, my singer from Summer Sun, and I, she's also the singer for this Taylor Swift tribute, but we went to her funeral together, and it was surprising, like you said, to see how many people that she touched, just being in a country cover band and doing some YouTube videos and things like that it connects with people more than you know. So, I mean, even if you're a musician out there, it doesn't go unnoticed by people. And like you said, sometimes people scoff at it and stuff, but I've been written things and given notices and letters and people who have gotten married, or we made an impact on people, whether it's big or small, and it helped them in some small way. And sometimes it's unbeknownst to us, we don't know that we're doing that, and it really delivers something for people. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I know some people that's the great debate of like doing covers, or, you're ripping off music and whatever. But, some people have to just take a step back and realize it's just entertainment for people. And some of their favorite artists, again, I started a Taylor Swift tribute with Samantha, and, Taylor, people love Taylor Swift, and it connects to a lot of young girls and older women, actually, and people of all ages. But she doesn't tour every summer. She doesn't play all the time. And when you want to go see Taylor Swift, it costs $200. And
Right.
people want to go and enjoy the live music aspect of her music. So this is an opportunity to do that for, maybe a $10 cover. Some places free. And we were surprised that, at how people gravitated towards that really quickly.
Yeah.
But it just shows the importance that the music can connect with people, and people want to hear it live no matter what, and almost no matter who's performing it. Yeah, would they rather see Taylor Swift? Of course. But if they're going to, they'll pay $110 and sit in nosebleed in Soldier Field. And what kind of experience is that when they can stand right up front with their favorite drink in hand? The whole night might cost them $50,
Right.
drink, and they have the time of their lives. So it's I thought that kind of like you at first when I moved to Chicagoland from Austin, because it's a different kind of thing, and it's like all these cover bands and niche things. What's like, I'm not sure how I felt about it, but then I was watching it connect with people, and I thought that was super important.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It goes such a long way, and like you definitely don't realize it. And a lot of times, I think we sometimes take advantage of it. And I try to emphasize that a lot with my band, and when we're playing, because I don't care who's out there or kind of what bad day you had. When we hit the stage, this is all that matters. Let's just have fun, enjoy each other, and enjoy the people that came out or are there to see us, or hired us to entertain their family and friends. So yeah, absolutely, it's definitely a different thing. 'Cause I remember being in the original scene too. Used to kind of like make fun of the cover guys, like laugh and stuff, because you think you're so much better. I don't know if it was just like an age thing. You're young and hot headed or whatever, but but yeah. But
You'd be
no,
surprised the posts I read with like old heads who still do that, or is always poking fun at the scene. There's a funny meme that I always like that someone always puts in one of those threads, and it's like I think it's Woody Harrelson wiping his tears with money. It's like me crying over making fun of my cover band. It's and especially in Chicagoland. I mean that exists like no other as a market. We were talking before pre-show. Here in Vegas, and now like I think Dallas has an emerging tribute sort of cover scene, but Chicagoland is certainly healthy and wealthy in that way. And bars love that in lieu of like DJs and stuff. Where I'm from in Pennsylvania, in central Pennsylvania, it's a lot of DJs in bars. They don't hire a lot of bands, so that's this scene doesn't exist at all. Not even in small, in small doses. I mean, as you get towards the bigger cities here and there's these live music venues that do cover bands and party bands and that kind of thing, because the bars realize there's money to be made off of that. But here, bars in the burbs, I mean, I live out in like the Aurora area and Yorkville and stuff. Those bars would much rather have a live band, even an acoustic guy or something, more than they want the jukebox on, and most cities aren't really like that. There's these niche places that do that, but here it's so widespread from the city to the burbs. I mean, there's specialty sort of venues that kind of, there's Bub Cities and Joe's on Weed who do country music, and there's there's the Forge. It does like heavy metal and rock, and so there's these Rosa's Lounge is doing blues and rock. There's all these places that have their sort of niche scenes that exist even within the scene, which is really amazing. And I'm always sad to see like venues come and go, but and that's what's hard about watching what's happening now with these businesses who have been around for 15, 20, 30 years having to shut their doors because they can't afford to come back. And that's tough. That's tough for me to see, places that have existed for a long time not be able to make it through what's going on now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a tragedy within itself what's happening right now with everybody, and yeah, people having it's just so sad, to see. And yeah, I sincerely hope it gets back sooner than later, because like you said, like what we were just talking about, like it does mean a lot to people, more than what we even realize, to have people and stuff and to bring the energy back. I know it's just one area or one show or whatever, but like all of us musicians all uniting across Chicago or Illinois in general, I mean, we can definitely make a big difference in the state by bringing the energy back to where it was, at least, or in a higher level where we can entertain everybody and get everybody's good vibes going again. So yeah, it goes a long way.
So last, thing to get to, as we're coming up on it, close to an hour already. It goes by so fast.
Man, it goes so fast.
I always thought like, oh man, I'll need like 2 people to talk for an hour, and then I pulled it back to 1 person because it just goes. Like, oh shit, do I have enough stuff to say?
Yeah,
like,
right,
and then we do. What's next? I mean, you said you're working on some original stuff now. What's kind of the goal during quarantine to stay relevant? I mean, I saw Chris do some live things on the Recycle the Day page. So if you're want to check out Recycle the Day, go over to their Facebook page. Their lead singer Chris did a couple of Facebook live videos. You guys did a YouTube video or something a month back, and if you're listening to this, if you download the podcast version, we're gonna have their version of Zombie. So as Danny was talking about, kind of a spin on a cover, they have their version of the Cranberries Zombie that we're going to play on the podcast version. So if you go over there, wherever you get your favorite podcast, and subscribe to the Band Buzz and get the bonus song from this podcast. So, but what's next for you?
Yeah, right now I'm just gonna work with my buddy Hugh. We're gonna work on some original stuff. Do my best to stay relevant here and to be here to fulfill any, like I said, clients that I currently have needs, to help them out, and yeah, try to stay as relevant as we can. And right now, and then I also have a family as well. So we're coming up on the end of e-learning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You've been a teacher probably for the last couple of months, huh?
Yeah, man, it's hell. It's terrible. It's absolutely. I have nothing but horrible things to say about e-learning and what a shit show that is. But yeah, so we're coming up at the end of that. Spend time with the family, man, right now. Because at the end of the day, that's what I'm kind of trying to take the silver lining is here. We're locked up, and I know there's people who are in tough situations, but for me personally, right now, I'm just trying to, work on being home, and my family loves having me here right now every weekend. I'm usually gone, running around doing weddings and stuff. So they're just taking advantage of having dad home right now. So playing a lot of fun games. You go to my wife's Facebook page, you'll see it's never a dull moment here in the Rabenda household. There's wrestling matches, there's TikToking and Mario Karting and Olympics and all kinds of shit going on.
Keeping it interesting. At least you're passing the time well.
Yeah, man, we're always doing some dumb shit, like constantly.
What's the timeline for the original stuff? Are you going to release kind of a song at a time? Are you interested in
we're gonna do an album? Yeah. I mean, I would love to do an album. That'd be great. Right now we're gonna do song by song. Probably within the month we should have it done and out. We're getting ready to. We just finished tracking just about everything. We're getting ready to go in for tracking vocals here in a minute. It's just hard. It's just different, because usually you just kind of knock it out and you have everybody here in one day or in a studio. It's just so different. So right now it's like, oh, here I made this drum part, or here's my guitar, So you're kind of collaborate through.
The collaborative method is really going to be interesting of how people record, but I think it's advanced that to some degree. Like now everyone's investing in recording stuff at home and getting a good mic and getting an interface. And I think that's positive because I think that's going to inspire people to probably do more original music at home because now they have some tools to get it done.
You have so much cool stuff. Like, I don't know if you're a Slate Digital fan, but like, man, you look at that, the Slate, the mic they came out with, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like emulates everything. It sounds fantastic.
Yeah. I'm a fan of, I'm a tech head. I'm going to have some gear guys on the show in the upcoming months. Once, when we're going to have like a nerd out night or something, I'm going to call it like nerd night. And we're just going to like tech talk and talk about mics and, wireless stuff and gear, and Kempers and Helixes and all, whatever else.
I'll go on for hours about that.
Yeah, so that's gonna be it. I'm gonna do a special Band Buzz Nerd Night and just have a couple guys on who are just great engineers, great sound people, and give us some cool tips and tricks, and review some pieces of gear. So that's going to be a cool thing that we have coming up. So I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, dude. It was great to finally like talk to you. We've known each other through the scene for probably close to 10 years, but we've never really just bullshitted at all. So like, this has been fun.
And if we did, they're passing and running around.
Yeah. I think we've talked like, briefly after some gigs when I booked you at the casino or something, but no, man, I'm proud of what you're doing. This is super cool, man. Keep it up. I'm excited when the new music drops. Send it my way. Maybe we'll play it on the show or something. And And I'm always here to help, you folks promote and do your thing. So thanks for coming on. You were one of the first people, I think, when I put out the feelers of who wanted to be on a show like this. You emailed me or messaged me right away and said, "Hey dude, I'm in."
I'm in for everything right now, man. I love all my music friends in the scene, man. Love all you guys, man. And yeah, we're in this together, and together we will make Illinois great again. There you go. So
we'll make the music scene great again. So when it comes back, I really love everybody who's doing quarantine videos and doing live streams, and it just keeps us in the limelight of things. And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this show during this time too, is keep that spotlight on everybody, that we haven't gone away. We're still here for people. And if anyone needs anything, or they want some kind of music thing for an event or something, get a hold of me at the Band Buzz. If you need to get a hold of Johnny or anybody else in the music scene, get a hold of me and I'll get a hold of them, and we'll help you out. So if you're a fan just listening and you need some music from us for something special, let us know. I'm sure we can work something out. I've got a lot of great people in the music scene willing to do edits and things like that. So thanks once again, Johnny. I really appreciate it. Johnny from Recycle the Day, Rockwave Entertainment. Thanks for coming on, man. I'll appreciate it. I'll talk to you in a little bit. All right,
brother.
Well, that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me. I love having these conversations. If you enjoy listening, please download these podcasts wherever you get your favorite podcasts and give us a review. 5 stars would be great. But if you have any comments or criticisms, hit us up. You can message me through the Band Buzz Facebook page. My Justin Craig Facebook profile page. If you're friends with me, hit me up. Let me know of people you'd like to see me talk to, different things I might be able to do on the show. We have some great stuff planned for once quarantine is over, doing live performances in studio, being on location with some bands here and there. It's going to be a great thing. Thank you so much for supporting the show. I want to thank the sponsors like Legends of Tomorrow Entertainment, legendsoftomorrowent.com, and email them at info@legendsoftomorrowent.com. If you have a band, if you have a podcast, if you have some way of delivering content or media, these people have the great strategy to help you out. They have a band Bible to get your social media up and running. Please reach out to them. They'll help you get some answers if you have questions. Also, my boy Eric, Old Wise Clothing Company, oldwiseclothing.com. Use promo code BANDBUZZ to get 15% off your entire order. They have great new clothes for the summer. A cool new tank top I just saw. I got to get one. A trucker hat is on the way. Ringer tees. Those are all my faves. They have some hoodies for the ladies that I just saw on the website. I was perusing today, doing a little shopping. So if you're going to shop for some cool clothes for the summertime, it's starting to get nice out. Yeah, they have a great new cool clothes. If you're a Harley person or a motorcycle person to ride around, I don't really do a lot of that. But if you're one of those people, they have really cool clothes. It's a really cool style. They have all kinds of great sponsors like MMA's the crippler Chris Lieben is a wearer of Old Wise clothing. Members of Candlebox, bunch of Nashville singer-songwriters. It's cool rock and roll biker kind of gear. It really looks cool. Eric's done a great job with that company. So make sure you use the code BANDBUZZ when you check out to get 15% off your entire order. The Healthy Hustle with Andrea. Head over to her Facebook page. If you're interested in some wellness and fitness tips, you can email her at andreagraves24@gmail.com. She represents great, cool, natural Arbonne products. I've got the pain cream for when I play long volleyball tournaments. Andrea is a fantastic volleyball player. She'd probably whoop my ass in volleyball any day of the week, run circles around me, but she's got great ideas to get you stretched and put good stuff in your body. I got to give a shout out to my girl, Beth. She's coming next week to give me a massage. I've roped her into it. I've convinced her I've been quarantined by myself long enough. I'm pretty sure I don't have COVID. But she's great. She's got a lot of great everyday wellness tips for just, again, staying healthy, putting good stuff in your body as well. Best Healthy Living Inside and Out on Facebook, or go over to Instagram and check her out at tranquil.solutions. Don't forget the dot, tranquil.solutions. And that is our show. I want to thank everybody who was involved in the comments, who was hanging with us the entire show. It's been super great. I'm so excited to do this week. I have Will Howard on Thursday, so come check out Will Howard. He's a tremendous bass player. He's been all over the world playing bass, but behind some of the greatest artists around. So it ought to be a really cool show and an interesting person in Chicagoland that you might not know about. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being on the Band Buzz. Keep buzzing, y'all.